in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker, joined by my executive producer, Jim Pounds.
Hey, y'all.
In studio. We've got a good show to you today. Lots of high quality journalism coming your way. In the second half hour of the show, Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times, is going to join us to discuss his new reporting on ICE's escalating actions in Chicago, which included arresting one of the city's gay alder people. But up first, since 1969, the Washington Blade has been the nation's independent source for fearless reporting and inclusive, incisive cultural commentary covering the LGBTQ plus community. Readers around the world rely on the Blade, earning the paper the moniker the newspaper of record for the LGBTQ plus community. You can find their award-winning journalism in their weekly newspaper, distributed at more than 100 locations throughout the DC region and online at washingtonblade.com. Check out their paid membership opportunities as well that make LGBTQ journalism possible at a time when clear, concise news is needed now more than ever. Joe Reberkenny is the White House correspondent for the Washington Blade. He's a graduate of American University, where he studied broadcast journalism and political science with a focus on gender, race, and politics. He covers LGBTQ issues and political news with a particular passion for exploring queer history in the nation's capital, making his first appearance on The Gailey Show. Hello, Joe. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. It's lovely to join you guys. I'm so excited to be here.
All right. So we are into week one now, officially, of the federal government shutdown. You were reporting last week, and I didn't know this, that somehow the Trump administration said it was partially the fault of transgender people that we have a shutdown.
Yeah. In the first meeting, when Trump was discussing the potential for a shutdown, he started to blame Democrats, as he tends to do, but also said that it was their fault for, quote, wanting transgender for everybody. And I've referenced the healthcare aspects of this government shutdown. But yeah, blame to them.
Should we even try to understand what he means by transgender for everybody?
I don't totally understand what he meant by that. But yeah.
Okay. So 1 week in, are you hearing anything or reading anything since you're in DC about whether or not we are close to coming back and having the government reopen?
It still feels like a standstill. Democrats are pretty hardline on their wanting to include this additional funding for healthcare, which is where the whole argument, at least that's what the Democrats are arguing. And Republicans point blank said they don't want it. It was cut out of funding during the big beautiful bill that Trump passed and the Republicans in the Senate passed and the House. But these Medicaid and health credits would provide, was supposed to provide over 20 million American with help for covering healthcare premiums and deductible rates. But the Republicans don't want to include it in their allocation in order for the government to keep going.
Does this also include premiums for folks who have insurance on the Affordable Care Act?
It does. It's specifically that is a large group of these 20 million Americans that would face possible, funding for their healthcare to be taken away.
And that would go, if they don't get it through, that would go into effect Jan 1, right?
Yeah, it would. So they still have the rest of the year, but it would make next year a little bit more difficult to find coverage and to find affordable healthcare in the country.
In your reporting and when you were at the White House, did they say why they were against, why is the Trump administration and the GOP against the subsidies?
Yeah, they kept arguing that this would give undocumented immigrants healthcare and would cover for people who are not paying taxes, and they were inflating this as, we are giving free money and free healthcare to immigrants in the country. And while there are some specific instances in the health credit cuts and Medicaid that will allow long-term residents who do pay taxes to get healthcare assistance, it's not just giving free blank checks to people to get healthcare.
Right. Well, I imagine there's a huge part of their base that is also receiving these subsidies. I'm just remembering reporting that I saw after the election last year where a number of his voters were like, wait a minute, I thought we were just getting rid of Obamacare, not the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, those two are the same thing, and a lot of people don't understand that.
No, they don't. Well, we will stay tuned to your reporting on any updates that happen with the shutdown, and hopefully, eventually, the funding or continued funding of these subsidies. Another big story that you've been covering is the Supreme Court, which reconvened this week. Folks know yesterday I took a pretty deep dive into Childs v. Salazar, where the court is apparently going to allow therapists to begin practicing or malpracticing on their queer patients, again, conversion therapy. But there are also a number of other cases of dire import for the LGBTQ community in front of the court this term. Should we, and you have a great outline of all of them, should we sort of take them one by one here?
Yeah, that's fantastic.
All right, so the first one is West Virginia versus PBJ.
Yeah, so this one is about a trans girl challenging of West Virginia state on banning trans girls' participation in sports. She has been actively identifying as trans and has been taking medications, various things to ensure that she is living the life that she wants to be living, and has taken puberty blockers. That's a big thing in this, is that she never reached male puberty, which is what some of the other arguments that other people are making, is that trans people have already had these hormones in them. But in this instance, in West Virginia, this girl has has been taking these medications and is trying to fight for the right to be able to participate in school sports.
Okay. Do we know when that case will be argued?
I don't have it currently right here, but it's supposed to be getting up this term. And this past week, I've been mostly focusing on Childs versus Salazar, as you have as well. But there's another one coming up similar to West Virginia, but this time about Idaho's version of the trans sports panic law.
So that's little versus Hecox,
Hecox, yes.
Hecox.
And except this one involves a trans woman who's playing at a collegiate level. They've argued that because she had gone through male puberty, she was not. She had an advantage, a chemical advantage, I would say. That's what they're arguing over the women born female. But it really is. Our focus is on the equal protection argument and Title IX specifically. Those are the big arguments, and if those extend to transgender people, despite Bostock, which has said that sexual identity and gender identity is protected by Title IX. So there might be some reversal of some decisions there.
And Bostock versus Clayton County. We all have to suddenly be lawyers.
Yeah.
In this new administration, Bostock v. Clayton County was a major decision a few years ago from the Supreme Court. All of them, I believe, with the exception of Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? I believe were on the court when they made this decision.
That sounds right.
Which, as Joe, you just said, found that sexual orientation and gender identity are covered under Title IX. Do folks have a sense yet? Like, in your reporting, are you seeing any sense of how the court is going to go? I mean, on the outside, I would say, okay, anything LGBTQ they're going to go against. But here, in this particular case, they would literally be overturning their precedent from a few years ago.
Yeah, well, this Supreme Court doesn't really seem to care about precedent. Specifically, Clarence Thomas has said recently in public statements to media that he doesn't really care for stare decisis or the respecting of precedents from past cases, and has been pretty outspoken about being more Christianly devoted than constitutionally devoted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I've been trying. I mean, it is my editorial opinion on this show that we live in a Christian nationalist country, and you just don't. Folks aren't ready to accept that yet. But we certainly, when you see someone like this, a justice on the Supreme Court saying that he's going to follow the Bible over Constitution, that tells you everything that you need to know.
Whoever gives him a trip, I guess he might that might influence him also.
Yeah, there's some great Publica reporting on the gifts that he seems to be taking in advance of cases that he has to be rendering decisions on. Joe, give us the bigger picture here on this term.
Yeah, so this term could reshape how equality itself is interpreted under the Constitution. That's how I've been looking at it. That's how a lot of the legal experts I've been talking to, from the ACLU to HRC, has been seeing it. This is the red alert that we have been, fearing, is that our rights as queer people and as people who have in the past not necessarily been considered equal under the law, but have been, following various and long fights towards getting that, could be repealed, and equality itself is kind of up for debate.
And that would be not just at the federal level, but some of these cases could also overturn blue state protections.
Yes. Specifically, I know yesterday you talked about Childs versus Salazar, and I don't want to get into it too much again, but that is a ban of conversion therapy, which extends to, I believe it's 27 states. Mm-hmm. And some of them blue, some of them red, but it would reverse things that, people have elected these officials to push forward. So it seems to be going against what some people have specifically voted for. In some instances,
well, and actual medical research,
yeah, right, that as well.
Let's
humanity and all that.
Let's have people start malpracticing again, and okay. All right. Well, I mean, this is an excellent article breaking down all of these cases. So I highly recommend to folks. And what I really appreciate your reporting, Joe, is that you don't have to be a lawyer to read it, about the Supreme Court. You do a very good job of breaking down the individual cases and everyday non-lawyer language. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah, of course. I am not a lawyer. I never went to school for law, although I did take a few classes at American about constitutional law. But all of those rules seem to be kind of flipping now and being debated in the court as well. So, yeah, I am not a lawyer.
I have to take a quick break here. You're listening to The Gailey Show. We'll be right back.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. Even though Auto Technical is a small nonprofit, we have helped more families with transportation than any organization in Minnesota. Since '94, we have reconditioned donated vehicles so they have a higher tax benefit. Call Richard at 612-919-5526, 612-919-5526, or autotech.org.
Hello, my name is Paul Sheldon. I'm a novelist. My #1 super fan, Annie Wilkes, has me trapped in her house. I need you to come to the Yellow Tree Theater in Osseo, September 26th to October 19th to get me out. YellowTreeTheater.com. It's misery. Please don't come alone. Hurry, she's coming.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shambot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shambot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at ShambotFamilyDentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Hi, this is Frank Brown of Minuteman Press Uptown with a question for our listeners. How important are business values to you? When you need high-quality digital print, it matters who you work with. You see, Minuteman Uptown is unique. We're one of the only union print shops in Minnesota providing our team with living wages and benefits. We believe in second chances for justice-impacted individuals who want to contribute to the community, and we are active in local issues. We've been in the streets standing up for racial, social, and economic justice. At Minuteman Uptown, our mission is to connect all communities through technology-driven print solution. An example of that mission is when I moved Minuteman Uptown to North Minneapolis. We're invested in this local community, and we help small businesses and local organizations throughout the Twin Cities reach their audiences. Reach out to Minuteman Uptown and partner with a printer that shares your values. Call us today at 612-870-0777 or visit us at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. We are coming up on the bottom of the hour in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds. Joe Reberkenny is the White House correspondent for the Washington Blade. He is here with us sharing his excellent reporting from D.C. Joe, this is a story that I didn't know about that was alarming to me, which is about how the FBI is planning to label trans people as, quote, violent extremists, end quote.
Yeah, there was a draft proposal from the FBI and Heritage Foundation, linked advisors, that specifically would classify transgender ideology inspired violent extremists as domestic terrorists, which is interesting given this category that they are trying to classify them in was created under the Biden administration to specifically get January 6th insurrectionists, those domestic terrorists, to charge them with crimes. So it's definitely a 360 on what it was created for.
And okay, what is transgender ideology inspired violent extremism?
It seems it's not super clear. It is, which I believe may be part of the reason it's not super clear, is to be more broad. From the legal experts I talked to, it is really just a way to tack on, if somebody is transgender, to tack on additional charge when confronting them with a few things. People I've talked to have called it unconstitutional and specifically politically motivated and very dangerous to not only transgender people in general, but all people who are looking towards fighting for equality for the LGBTQ community.
And who was raising the alarm here? There's a number of organizations.
Yeah, multiple organizations. I talked to a bunch, specifically, pardon me, sorry, just pulling up. The Human Rights Campaign was a big one. I was a big call with a bunch of organizations that discussed this as soon as the reports started going out. The Transgender Law Center also issued a warning on the same call. Equality Federation, GLAAD, and PFLAG, the Southern Poverty of Law Center. All of these organizations came together for this giant call to denounce this potential plan to label transgender people as extremists.
That's all the heavy hitters, which makes it all the more alarming. So, and this is not something that would be law. It would be a policy that they could. I guess where I'm going with that is I'm trying to figure out, like, who can sue to stop this?
Yeah, it seems to be mostly motivated by right-wing media's false claims, especially following the Charlie Kirk assassination. That's where a lot of this stems from. And since there hasn't been any official charging of anybody, and nobody has been found to be, at least that of my knowledge, that has been charged of this, who has been transgender, I'm not totally sure how it would go about through court. We'd have to just see how that would play out. Hopefully it doesn't, but the path is not clear. This would be something entirely new.
I mean, there would be the sense that this wouldn't just stop with trans folk, right? I mean, we're seeing this as are those organizations seeing this as a larger pathway for demonizing the entire LGBTQ community?
Yeah, there was a lot of sounding the alarm that, it could start at transgender people, and then very quickly this slope gets real slippery, and it could start of taking over the entire LGBTQ community. It could be gay people next. It could be bisexual people. It could be anybody who doesn't identify as straight. They were sounding the alarm and saying, this, even if you don't care about transgender rights, which you should if you care about equality, but if you don't, this is still a reason to pay attention, because you could very well be the next targeted group.
Would this include just the act of violence per se, or would this also include like media organizations or nonprofits that are not promoting transgender ideology, but we're like obviously providing gender affirming care, or on the show talking about transgender rights and LGBTQ rights? Like, are they seeing a broad, like, are those organizations saying that this could be even folks who are just pro LGBTQ?
Yeah, there was an emphasis on this being bigger than just targeting a person who might be transgender. It could grow, just as you were describing it, and could criminalize just queer existence and queer acceptance as a whole.
Right.
Yeah, there are so many scary stories here, but the one where you empower the FBI and DOJ to suddenly start making arrests onto something that was, it's so broad. I mean, transgender ideology inspired violent extremism. It just, Joe, is there do we know what the next steps are in this? Like, it's proposed, it is an official policy. Like, will we even know that they've implemented it?
As of right now, no. If you go onto the FBI's website, they used to have statistics about transgender people, but this administration has been wiping a lot of things related to trans people, specifically in the trans community. So that has been taken out entirely. So there's no website or no kind of reference to see where this actual proposal would go. But yeah, we don't have, again, a clear path to seeing what could happen from it. But yeah, it's just all new territory.
And so I imagine then, in terms of the stats that they're erasing from DOJ, I mean, trans people are infinitely more likely to be the victim of a crime, correct?
Yes, it's very, very likely. And that was one of the things that Kelly Robinson from the HRC emphasized on this call, was that you are not likely to be attacked by a transgender person. It's a transgender person is much more likely to be attacked and to be victims themselves.
Right.
Yeah. Did you have a question, Tim?
No, I was going to make the comment that a lot of straight people are bisexual. So that's a very interesting slippery slope. I think if whether the bis who are hiding will come out and say you're crazy, or whether they'll slink away and allow us.
I don't like that biphobia.
Well,
that you're sharing.
I'm saying a bi person. No. I'm saying legitimately that a bi person has a decision to make, and I'm hoping people make the right one. But I think some people won't.
Well, this is why I appreciate your reporting, Joe, because you're giving us facts and stories that we don't know about that folks should be paying attention to here for how we can try to hold this administration accountable. Briefly, as we're coming up at the end of our time here, are there stories that you're working on that should be on the watch for?
Yeah, actually, last week I just published another one that I just want to quickly shout out. We did some investigating and found that the National Park Service had grants specifically allocated to 3 LGBTQ historical organizations in 20 states across the country. And those had been taken back after being initially announced prior to the Trump administration, and had since been given to other groups that are not focusing on LGBTQ history. I'm also currently working on a story about the New York City bar.
Cut you off. I'm so sorry. We're at our time, folks. Go to WashingtonBlade.com for all of that reporting and new reporting from Joe. We'll have a link in the show notes and on the website. We'll have Joe back here as well. You're listening to The Gailey Show.
Hello, Minnesota. This is Stephanie Miller. Make sure to start your day off right with the Stephanie Miller Show every weekday morning from 8 to 11 right here on AM 950.
Adventure is calling. Set sail with Treasure Island at Children's Theatre Company, where danger, discovery, and daring sword fights await. Follow young Jim Hawkins on a journey filled with mysterious maps, buried treasure, and the unforgettable Long John Silver. A legendary story brought to life with stunning visuals, live music, and heart-pounding action. Don't miss Treasure Island, September 9th through October 19th. Tickets at childrenstheatre.org.
Hey friends, John Parker here from The Gailey Show. Traveling as a queer person or with queer friends and family needs to be worry-free, relaxing, and with a sparkle of adventure. So that's why for the past 10 years, I head up to the Fresh Coast and Michigan's Marquette County. With its spectacular fall colors, dozens of hiking trails, local breweries, good food, eclectic shopping, and its historic downtown, and even a film festival, it's just what I need for a long weekend getaway. Join me and head up to the Fresh Coast. Visit travelmarquette.com to start your journey.
You're listening to AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Time is running out. Don't miss Doris Hines closes October 12th at History Theater in St. Paul. This electrifying world premiere celebrates the extraordinary life of Minneapolis jazz legend Doris Hines with her music, her courage, and her lasting influence on the Twin Cities and beyond. Through unforgettable performances and live jazz, the show honors a woman who sang with the greats and inspired generations. Seats are going fast and discounts are available for students, seniors, and veterans. Learn more at historytheater.com. That's historytheater.com.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. October is here, so Halloween is right around the corner. And if you're thinking of having a horror movie marathon with friends, you better make sure your home doesn't look like something out of one of those movies. Don't ghost your carpet this fall. My cleaning heroes at Zero Res can help get all those spooky smells and creepy stains out of your home. Carpet, tile, rugs, upholstery, hardwood, any surface in your home can be Zero Resified. Right now, you can get your entire home Zero Resified from Minnesota's ultimate carpet cleaner, with 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129. But there's something even scarier than ghosts and goblins hiding in your home, and it's in your air ducts. This month, take 15% off your air duct and dryer vent cleaning service. Don't let a missed deal haunt you. Call 9520-RES or go to ZeroResMinnesota.com today and ask for the AM 950 special. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Brett Johnson. Look for sunny skies today with a high near 63, tonight clear with a low around 46, and Thursday partly cloudy with a high around 68. Experience live music like never before at Crooner's Supper Club. Enjoy top-tier performances in the main stage showroom, Dunsmore Jazz Room, or Under the Stars at the Belvedere. Plus, Maggie's Piano Lounge is always open with no cover charge. Find more details at croonersmn.com.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk. Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I am your host, John Parker, in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds. It is somehow already 33 minutes after the hour. Windy City Times has been the voice of Chicago's LGBTQ plus community since 1985. This year marks the news outlet's 40th anniversary of uplifting queer stories, reporting with pride, and chronicling LGBTQ plus history. You can visit windycitytimes.com/newsletters to sign up for the publication's weekly LGBTQ plus news updates. Obviously, their award-winning journalism is also readable on windycitytimes.com. Jake Wittich is managing editor of Windy City Times, where he reports in-depth stories on Chicago's LGBTQ plus community and oversees the publication's growing newsletter operation. Joins us bi-weekly here on the show. Jake, it is great to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you too. Good to be back.
Jake, I think you're on mute.
Oh, no.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, good. Good to be back. Thank you for having me again.
Right. Okay, so some serious ICE escalations and attacks are happening in your city right now. There's a lot to unpack there. Should we start with the arrest of an alderperson?
Yeah. So I'll start with just a little bit of context. ICE has been operating with their so-called Operation Midway Blitz here in the Chicago area for weeks now, maybe even months. It's all a blur. But their actions and attacks in Chicago are really escalating. And this kind of reached a boiling point last Friday when a local alderman, Jessie Fuentes, she oversees the Logan Square neighborhood, which is predominantly Hispanic. She was responding to the hospital where a man that ICE agents were chasing had fallen and injured himself. I don't want to say he injured himself in the fall. There's a lot of unclarity. He could have been injured by ICE agents. Who knows? But he was at the hospital where agents were in the room with him, and Jessie Fuentes responded to the hospital and basically told them, you need a warrant. This man has constitutional rights. And the federal agents weren't having it. So they arrested the alderperson and walked her out of the hospital and were threatening to arrest her.
On what grounds?
That's what she was asking. And they didn't have an answer. And it's really chilling in the video. The agent, he's not wearing a mask. He suddenly grabs the alderperson, whips her around and starts putting her in handcuffs. And she's asking that. She's like, what law did I break? They can't answer. And then she says, this man has constitutional rights. I have constitutional rights. And the agents respond, no. So yeah, it's a serious escalation. And this happened the same day. Earlier that day, ICE agents deployed tear gas outside of a Home Depot and outside of a neighborhood grocery store that passerbys were affected by.
And all of this is on video.
The alderperson getting handcuffed is, yes. And if you go to the Chicago Sun-Times, they have some good reporting on the tear gas incidents. That is not on Windy City Times, but the other outlets have covered that.
I mean, they're committing these acts on video, and I'm assuming these are not undercover cameras. They know the video.
Yes, it was a legislative aide of Jessie Fuentes' filming this. And you can hear the panic in her voice when she's calling for help, saying this is an alderperson being arrested. The alderperson Fuentes, she did a really good job of keeping her composure. I don't know. She is brave. She really kept standing up to those agents and did not panic.
Well, okay. And that's just one part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, and this is just part of a huge pattern in Chicago of these escalating actions. ICE agents did an overnight raid of a whole apartment building in the South Shore neighborhood where they arrested close to 40 adults and children in the middle of the night. Just horrible, you know? And then just the other day, an ICE agent shot a woman several times, and the federal government claimed that she was in a vehicle trying to ram into the ICE agents' cars. But then in court the other day, her attorney said that body camera footage contradicts their claims and that she was instead following the ICE agents, kind of whistleblowing to passerbys, there are ICE agents nearby. And apparently the video shows the agent telling the woman, do something. And then he calls her a slur for women. And then he shoots her several times. So it's really getting violent here in Chicago. And it's not Chicagoans inciting this violence.
Did she die?
No, she is alive. Yeah, but ICE agents did already kill someone in Chicago during a traffic stop. So it's past the point of somebody's going to die. Someone already has, you know? Yeah. And so the woman who was shot, there was a protest that day, and the ICE agents deployed tear gas on the protesters and the Chicago police officers that were there.
Yeah. Have there been any statements from CPD about this?
I'm not sure about CPD about that, but I do want to go back to the alderman, Jessie Fuentes. There was a big letter that went out condemning the ICE agents' actions in that incident, signed by the mayor, our city treasurer, our city clerk, and then almost every alderperson. We have 50 alder people here in Chicago. There were 13 who were not on that list, including the alderman of the ward where that South Shore apartment building raid happened. He did not sign the letter condemning ICE's actions. So it's really interesting. And I'm curious, I'm supposed to be talking to Alderman Jessie Fuentes later this week. I'm curious to see if she's been in communication with any of these alder people who didn't sign on to that letter.
With all of these actions, Is there any, are you hearing from anybody that you're talking to about any legal mechanism? Like, is this person who arrested her still on the force? I don't even know.
I believe so. There is a video that was shared yesterday of the Waukegan mayor talking to press about, because ICE is in Waukegan, which is near Chicago as well. And in the background of the video, ICE is arresting a woman who's apparently a U.S. citizen. Not that it should matter, but the agent, he's not wearing a mask, and it appears to be the same agent who handcuffed Jesse Fuentes. And he violently shoves this woman into the car while he's arresting her. So I haven't been able to 100% confirm it's him, but it looks like the same guy. So.
In your reporting, are you finding any explanations for why they are being so aggressive in their tactics?
I mean, I can't read their minds, but it is alarming. These are a lot of women that are being subjected to this violence, people of color. In Jesse Fuentes' case, she's one of 9 openly LGBTQ plus alder people. So she really checks a lot of those boxes that the Trump administration is making their boogeymen.
Well, the reason why I asked that question is that, like, you know, here when we had the protest over George Floyd's murder, like, we all became suddenly experts in the rules of Minneapolis Police Department's rules of engagement. You know, the guidelines that they are given when you have protests going on. And so when I just see all of these violent acts happening, you know, part of me is like, are these rogue agents that are, you know, inflicting violence? Or because it seems so everywhere that all of them seem to be doing it, I'm like, is this a directive that they're being given from their superiors or on high to be as aggressive as possible when they are attempting to make an arrest?
Yeah, I am not sure, but the chief, Greg Bovino, who is overseeing the operation in Chicago, he also oversaw ICE's operations in LA. He was speaking to a Chicago Sun-Times reporter, and they released the transcript, the whole audio as well. And he basically told them, we are making arrests based on how people look. And he told the reporter, who's a white man, someone like you isn't going to be targeted.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's a jarring admission. Yeah.
I think we're all still kind of pretending that there's I think we're pretending there's some logical argument here, and I don't think that's what we're dealing with. I don't think we're dealing with logic or legality.
So they're just basically targeting people based off of their skin tone, not based on any investigation of, like, hey, this person's, you know, green card or visa may be up. They're just randomly picking up people.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it's really alarming. And, you know, an elected official, she was telling them, I'm an elected official, I'm an alderman, and they had no clue what an alderman was. And I think by the time they walked her out of the hospital, they started to realize, oh, we picked the wrong person. And that's why they let the alderwoman go.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that they're being driven by a goal, a made up number out of a lunatic's mind for how many people they're supposed to arrest every day to try to get to the phony number they created at the beginning of how many people they needed to get rid of. And so I think if you can be objective about the ICE people, and I don't even think of them as agents, I don't think of them as law enforcement officers or anything else, but the thugs that are in ICE, they're going to grab anybody they can get a hold of because they're trying to hit this number. They're being told, you got to get this number. We got to get this number any way we can. So I'm sure they're grabbing people right, left, and sideways to have any justification at all to have their arrest numbers up to where dumbbell wants them to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all this is.
Yeah. And then we have the National Guard coming into Chicago as well. So it's just getting worse. Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry that you're going through that, Jake.
We are talking with Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times. Do you have, I mean, I don't even know how there are updates. I mean, it seems like the National Guard is coming and then they're not coming, and then there's lawsuits against them. And so, and I saw today on AP News that Trump is saying that Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson should be arrested if they try to say anything about the National Guard coming there. I mean, what are the updates there vis-a-vis the Guard?
Yeah, so via the Guard, relating to that, they've been seen in Chicago training. in the Chicago area. However, I don't know what kind of action they've taken already. The city and the state filed a lawsuit to stop this, but the judge basically said they can't make a ruling until Thursday, and they urged the the federal government not to send them in until Thursday when they make a decision. Obviously, they're not going to wait for that. So I don't know. I'm really starting to question. We have all these protections and mechanisms, but are they built to meet this moment?
No.
Are they? So what is the latest rationale for why the Guard needs to go into Chicago?
I think that the federal government is manufacturing a crisis here, where they send these ICE agents in who are terrorizing Chicago. And that is the true terror in this city right now. And when protesters respond, they're responding peacefully. And it's the ICE agents who are really escalating things. And then it gets on the news and they say, look at this chaos in Chicago. We need the National Guard in. But it's really not the protesters who are escalating this.
Wow. And the response from Mayor Johnson?
Yeah. So this morning, President Trump posted on whatever social outlet he's on. I'm just on Blue Sky, really. But he posted that our governor and our mayor should be in jail. And our mayor, Brandon Johnson, he is a Black man. He basically posted, like, it's not the first time that Trump has said a Black person should be jailed, referencing the full page ad that Trump took out demanding that the Central Park 5 be jailed, So
yep.
That was his response. And Pritzker basically said, bring it, I'm standing up to fascism. So,
yep.
Are they, we're coming up on time here, so maybe we can start what folks should be doing in response to, if they find themselves interacting with ICE or if they see something that's happening in their neighborhood. Yeah. We have a lot of resources related to that. We've got about a minute to get started on that.
Cool. I would recommend definitely connecting with the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights. They're doing a lot of Know Your Rights trainings. So find out where those are. A lot of them are virtual, so you can learn there. They also have a 24-hour family support network hotline where people can report ICE activity, and that is 855-435-7693. So that
number again?
Yeah, 855-435-7693. And that is the Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights.
We are here with Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times, who is giving us the latest on what is happening in Chicago related to both ICE and the National Guard. We're going to take a break here and have more with Jake when we come back. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Hey, Francois, what's with all the wrapping paper?
Salut, Laura, je fais des cadeaux.
You're making gifts. These must be for your clients. And then your favorite macaroons for Nicolette's.
Bien sûr.
Oh, they put your business logo on them? Luxurious.
Oui, et ils expédient partout dans le pays.
They ship anywhere in the U.S. and look how many you bought. You must have lots of clients.
Mais non, ils sont tous pour moi.
Oh, Francois, these are just for you? Well, visit nicoletsmacaroons.com today to create thoughtful gifts for your business, your friends, or yourself.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. Over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Hey, it's Tom. There's a war being waged on clean energy. A bill in Congress could eliminate the 30% federal tax credit for solar by the end of 2025. And once it's gone, it may never come back. Fossil fuel giants and their MAGA friends in Washington want to kill green energy. But you can fight back. Going solar with All Energy Solar isn't just smart, it's a form of resistance. You choose where your money goes, not to utility companies, not to fossil fuel billionaires, but toward clean, renewable power for your home. A system from All Energy Solar works in Minnesota year-round because it runs on sunlight, not heat. So even in the dead of winter, you're generating electricity. And All Energy Solar helps you save with every rebate and incentive available. This is the moment to act. Waiting means risking with this tax credit and giving the upper hand to MAGA Republicans. So get your free consultation today at allenergysolar.com and take back your power.
He's greedy. He's scrumptious. He's horrid. Roald Dahl's The Enormous Crocodile the Musical is weaving its way onto the stage at Children's Theatre Company beginning October 1st, featuring eye-popping puppets, a rich score with great groove, and plenty of mischievous audience interaction. Don't miss the U.S. premiere of the smash UK hit. Get your tickets for The Enormous Crocodile the Musical today at childrenstheatre.org.
Hi, I'm Scott Shambot from Shambot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. And we'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. As my daughter Rachel says,
If you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
Shamblat Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblatfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. We are coming up on the top of the hour. I'm John Parker in studio with my executive producer, Jim Pounds. We're joined by Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times. Part of the story that you're covering, Jake, related to the ICE attacks on Chicago residents and the impending National Guard coming in there is what local lawmakers are attempting to do in terms of laws. And I think that coming at multiple levels of state government in Illinois. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, our lawmakers maybe might not be the full solution, but it's really important that people who are upset about what's happening are contacting their elected officials right now and asking them, what are you doing to stand up to ICE's actions at this moment? There are a number of lawmakers who outlined at a press conference last week some of the actions they're taking. And this is at varying levels of government. So I'll start with the federal. U.S. Rep. Delia Ramirez, she is working on passing the Sensitive Locations Act, which would keep ICE out of places like schools, hospitals, and churches. And it was at a hospital where this alderperson was handcuffed last week because they were arresting a man who was in the ER there. They're at the federal government. They're also working on the No Secret Police Act, which would require ICE agents to show identification and not wear masks. A little more locally, state lawmakers are trying to ban ICE from those sensitive locations. At the county level, they passed a resolution requiring county officials to alert others in the county if ICE is on their property. They're urging the chief judge to ban civil arrests inside courthouses, and they're trying to limit data sharing to block ICE from third-party brokers. I do think I remember covering a county hearing last year where this came up. There is a contract they have that does share, at the time, it shared locations with the Department of Homeland Security, or not locations, but sensitive information with the Department of Homeland Security. So those are the things they're trying to address. And then at the city level, it's hard because how do you enforce these things? But Mayor Brandon Johnson passed an executive order yesterday creating ICE-free zones, basically stating that ICE cannot conduct its business on city property. They've also tried to say that ICE needs to show their face, that they can't wear masks and they need to be identifiable. But again, how are you able to enforce these things when you have a rogue federal government?
Well, who typically enforces the mayor's executive orders? Would it
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah, are we counting on the Chicago police to go to these ICE agents and be like, you're breaking the executive order? I don't see that happening, so I just have a lot more questions. It's great to see these efforts, but I do want to see how they're going to be enforced.
I don't want to say they're papering over the issue, but yeah, it does. If there's nobody there to enforce them, I would be curious to see is the next step then that Mayor Johnson directs the police department to say you have to enforce these things that we're saying here.
And how scary is that? Now we've got two different agencies of law enforcement, quotes in the case of ICE, being pitted against each other. And I think that's what Trump is trying to set up. So it's alarming.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I will say there's one other thing people can do to get involved, and that's protest. If you're listening in Chicago on WCPT radio, it already happened, but Wednesday night there is a protest downtown against the National Guard and ICE in Chicago. And then there's also the nationwide No Kings protest happening on October 18th. And we're expecting a really big crowd at the rally and protest march happening in Chicago. And I think that's at noon, October 18th in Grant Park.
Okay. It is going to be very interesting to see how the Guard responds to that particular protest. I'm assuming that you're going to be there reporting.
Yeah, I plan to be.
All right. We'll have to stay tuned to Jake has an excellent account on Blue Sky where you can stay up to date with the reporting that he is doing for the Windy City Times. In lighter news, there
a bit
is
of a palate cleanse.
Open House Chicago. We have a couple minutes left to talk about that.
So Open House Chicago is an annual festival showcasing architecture all around the city. And what it involves is more than 200 sites across the city opening their doors to the public. Many of these typically aren't open to the public. And this year it's exciting because there's a couple LGBTQ plus sites that are new to the program. And that is the Center on Halsted, which is our largest LGBTQ plus community center in the North Halsted neighborhood. And then the Gerberhardt Library and Archives, which is the largest LGBTQ plus archive in the Midwest. And what's really cool is they're offering tours of their cold storage rooms and their archives, which normally are closed to the public. It's just for researchers to access. So it's a cool opportunity. It's October 18th and 19th.
Wow. Are you going to go to get access?
I've had access before, so no, I'm kidding. I have, but I do. If I'm free that Sunday, I will. Unfortunately, Saturday is the No Kings protest, and I'll likely be there instead. So,
well, be careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope you have a big press pass, clearly visible. Well, I mean, yeah, they don't seem to care about that either. All right. Thank you, Jake, for joining us. Visit windycitytimes.com/newsletters to sign up and stay up to date weekly newsletters that Jake manages there for the Times. And you can also visit their website daily for news updates on what's happening on a variety of issues affecting the LGBTQ community. You can also follow him on Blue Sky. That handle, Jake, is
Jake Wittich, WITTICH. I'm not sure exactly. Just search my name.
I think it's like .bsky.app.
Yeah.
All right. We will see you back here in a couple weeks.
Yes, I'll be back.
All right. Thank you, Jake. And thanks everyone for listening and or watching today on YouTube. Up next on WCPT 820 is Chew's Views with Richard Chew on AM 950 Radio. It is the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio. And then at 10 p.m. Central, step into the unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghostbox Radio. Stream us everywhere you get your podcasts or watch us at youtube.com/@thegailyshow. And you can connect with us on Blue Sky. We're at thegaileyshow.org there. And until tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.
Queer without fear.
The Minneapolis Institute of Art invites you to experience Gatsby at 100, exploring how F. Scott Fitzgerald's novel The Great Gatsby both shaped and was shaped by the visual art of its time. This exhibition brings together works from Mia's collection that embody the decadence, excess, and social upheaval of Fitzgerald's most famous novel, highlighting paintings, books, and works on paper that are rarely on view. Come see it at Mia, always free and open to everyone. Learn more at artsmia.org.
This is Alex Knorr from Buzzcut Mowing, a young, hardworking entrepreneur serving the Southwest Metro with affordable lawn care. I take the hard work off your plate with weekly mowing. I also offer leaf cleanups, aeration, dethatching, tree trimming, and mulch installation. I'll keep your lawn beautiful so you can enjoy your weekends with the people who matter most.